That's the main reason we wanted to see how it does. Yeah. So that was kind of cool. So,
Oh, I didn't realize.
yeah, so we did that. So I mean, so we came back. But he was still there. Him and his family, 2 kids. I think he has 3 kids.
Well, it would have ended like at 1:30.
It ended after 1.
After 1, yeah.
Welcome to the Bellevue City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, June 18th, 2024 at 6 p.m. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation with Dr. Rick Janelle, lead teaching minister, Bellevue Church of Christ at 2311 Madison Street. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yep, I didn't think we saw him, so we'll skip the invocation this evening. Item 3, call to order. Susan, would you take roll call, please?
Councilman Casey.
Here.
Councilman Cook.
Here.
Councilman McCaw.
Here.
Councilman Preister.
Here.
Councilman Burns.
Here.
And Councilwoman Welch.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4, Open Meetings Act. This meeting will be conducted in accordance with the Nebraska Open Meetings Act. A copy of that act is located on the rear wall of the council chambers. Item 5, approval of agenda, consent agenda, claims, and advisory committee reports. 5A, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion? Councilman Burns.
I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Burns, second by Preister. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 5B, approval of the consent agenda. Items marked with an asterisk are approved where this item is, unless otherwise removed. Do I have a motion? Councilman Preister?
Thank you, Mayor. I will ask to remove the claims, and then I will move to approve the consent agenda. I have a conflict in the claims, not an issue.
Second.
Motion by Preister, second by Burns to approve the consent agenda, removing the claims to put it on the regular agenda. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
Yeah, my computer just went out. All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 6, approval of the claims. Do I have a motion? Councilman Cook?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion we approve the claims.
Second.
Motion by Cook, second by Burns. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
We have 5 yes votes and 1 abstention, with Councilman Preister abstaining. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 8 is all on the consent. Item 9, approved citizen communication. We did not receive any this evening. Item 10, liquor licenses. We have none this evening. Item 11, ordinances for adoption, third reading. We have none. Ordinances for public hearing, second reading. We have none. Ordinances for introduction, first reading. We have none. Item 14, public hearing on matters other than ordinances. 14A, show cause hearing on the proposed condemnation in the rear of the property at 8258 South 50th Street, Bellevue, Nebraska 68157. And I'm going to start with our building inspector, Mike Christensen, if he would come forward, and I'll open up the public hearing.
Good evening, everyone. I have a short video of the property I'd like to show, and then I'll be happy to answer any questions. So this was initiated with several complaints from the neighborhood, and let me see if this is. So after investigation, there's 6 similar structures to this particular structure that are being constructed on the property. When I initially spoke with the gentleman that was building them, he referred to them as they were going to be Airbnbs and rented out for income. And then he referred to some of them as being tree houses. None of them are remotely a tree house. That one sits on the fence. We have city ordinance even for non-dwelling structures. 1582 is the city ordinance that states that every non-dwelling structure be kept in a reasonably good state of maintenance and repair. These aren't even being constructed, in my opinion, in a good state of maintenance and repair. Basically, just majority of them just sit on the ground, as indicated here.
And we've been through about 8 tornadoes.
Sir, I can't have you talk right now. You'll have your chance right after Mike gets done. Thanks.
There is no, really craftsmanship to the structures as far as the way they're constructed. Definitely fits the ordinance of 1582 of being kept in a good, reasonably state of maintenance and repair and rodent-free and weather-tight. Any questions for me?
So how many of these are there?
6.
And there are obviously probably no permits or...
No, we have...
By 10 by 15.
Sir, I can't have you talk right now. Let Mike talk, and then we'll let you come up
He's
after
correct.
that.
He was going to allude to the fact that he maintains that they're under 120 square feet where no permit is necessary for a structure 120 feet or less. But as I stated, it still falls under the non-dwelling structure as an accessory structure under 1582, and they must be kept in a good state of maintenance and repair, and they are not.
Okay, so the 120 square feet, you can have as many of those on your property as you want?
Have to be 6 feet apart.
That would be for planning department. Tammy will answer that.
And is there anything in our ordinances that allow living in a shed or that structure?
No, if it were a habitable structure, it would have to meet the building code, for facilities, plumbing, etc. There's none of those facilities attached to these.
Okay, any other questions for Mike?
So maybe this is a Tammy question. Can you in this area have an Airbnb on that particular property? Is that allowed?
You can't have a number of residential structures. Basically, this zoning would allow for a principal use of a single-family residence and then a potential guest house, but that would be it, and it couldn't be rented or otherwise sold. As far as the questions about accessory structures, you could have more than one. That's true. You're limited by setbacks, maximum ground coverage. Also, again, you could have a number of storage sheds, but once you're turning them into dwelling units, that's a different story because that's based on the zoning.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thanks, Mike. Okay, the public hearing's open, so if there's anybody that wants to talk, please come forward, state your name and address, and you're free. And you'll have limited to 3 minutes. And
Oh, great. I'll make this count. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I started building these structures
need your name and address first for
my
the
name's
record.
Chris Curry. This is my address, 8258 South 50th. 2 things that happened. I was unable to find a job since December, 2 years in a row. Before Christmas, they just get rid of me, even though I'm a master plumber. So I could legally do water, sewer,
if I have $600 to run the copper, I'm doing Google sewers right now. So to add sewer and water is not a big deal. But most importantly, I kept working my butt off instead of crying I couldn't find a job. That's why Google just picked me up for $2,300. So if you looked at the first structure to the left of that thing, my building, self-taught building, has went up beyond day and night. You wouldn't even believe the same guy built the first one. And the other thing, small homes are the most popular right now, and I went and looked at 20,000 of them, and every single one of them, they hit their head on the second floor. And by my 6th or 7th building, I already figured if you can be 10 by 10 by 15 with no permit needed, all those builders really had no empathy, because you could be 15 foot tall, so why are you hitting your head? How much did he save on 2 feet at 2x4s? Not very much. And the other thing, the landfill's been full for many years. I was trying to show how much waste we have, what could be done with the waste, okay? So when people need some type of incitement, some type of motivation, right? By finding so much stuff for free and making something of it, it shows anybody could have did it, right? You could have had no money, but most importantly, I started building the structures. The code enforcement needs everything in a building, okay? I got an acre of stuff. I mean, if I can't find a job, I'm forced to find things and resell them, right? So just in a week's time, I can't even leave that stuff out in my yard. They want it all picked up, right? So I built these buildings to make the code enforcement happy. He wants nothing on the ground. So to have an acre and I can't set nothing on the ground, I built the structures to make the code enforcement guy happy, because I should have never sold the land to the city for the water park. Then nobody could have drove through my yard. So whoever's in my neighborhood that don't like looking at it, don't go to the park. It's that simple. But luckily, guess how much these little shacks go for in Portland? 300 grand. Straight up. You can check it out, look it up, right? Not only that, the city needs an income, right? So maybe I was teaching people how to build, showing what could be done with waste instead of just taking whole cities over for garbage, right? Eventually, Sarpy County landfill's been full for years. They just pipe it out to another city and dump it, right? So at some time, to show people hazard relief, a different way that you could have made a structure for a couple days while your building's been rebuilt, right? But most importantly, I'm gonna list them. I got a book that shows all the permits. I called them last week, said pick something out of here. It can be to the T. They luckily have a whole list of the material that you need. So whether he wants a mom and pop shed, whatever, cookie cutter, it has the prints in there. I will disassemble them.
I gotta have to wrap it up in about 30 seconds.
Okay, so to be in compliance, and I really wanted the city to realize if 70 people a day are coming just to look at them, we're inspiring creativity. Chances are he gets something to eat in Bellevue, pays taxes on that. Maybe he came from out of town, because 70 people a day, you're gonna see, the guy at the gas station has seen his sales come up, right? So I feel like me being a salesman, the whole city needs sales, right? Like, you ask 10 people if they have as much money as they did, they don't. Everybody, I feel, is doing bad. So I say the building guy and the permit and the code enforcement guy, despite you guys being right next to each other, they should be on the same page, right? And they're not.
All
one
right,
guy wants one thing, one guy wants the other thing. So
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
this shows you how goofballs are.
Public hearing still open. Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding 14A? Please come forward. Seeing nobody, I'll close the public hearing. Council have any questions at this time? Councilman Cook?
Tammy and Mike, just there's been no permits issued. None of this has been authorized, approved, okayed by the
You don't
city.
need one if it's
Sir,
10%.
the public hearing's over. I can't have you talk.
But he needs to know the law that you don't
Thank
need
you.
one if
I
it's 10%.
can't, sir, I can't have you talk. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, move on to 14A1, resolution number 2024-14, condemning the structures located at 8258 South 50th Street, Bellevue, Nebraska, 68157. Do I have a motion? Councilman Cook.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion. We approve resolution number 2024-14.
Second.
Motion by Cook, second by Casey. Are there any questions or comments? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
All right, thank you. Item 15, resolutions. 15A, resolution number 2024-15, approving the First Amendment to the Sarpy County and Cities Wastewater Agency fiscal year 2024-2025 budget and authorize the mayor to sign. Do I have a motion? Councilman Casey?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-15. Second.
Motion by Casey, second by McCaw. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16, current business. 16A, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the amendment extending the Community Development Block Grant subrecipient agreement with Bellevue Junior Sports Association in an amount not to exceed $3,795. Do I have a motion? Councilman Preister?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move to approve item 16B. Second.
Motion by Preister, second by McCaw. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Did you say 16B or 16A?
16A. We're approved? Okay. Item 16B, approve and authorize the mayor to sign amendment number 2 to engineering services agreement with HDR Engineering, Inc. for Sarpy County wastewater connection evaluation at Highway 34 and Highway 75 in an amount not to exceed $305,000. Do I have a motion? Councilman Burns?
I move that we approve item 16B.
I'll second that.
Motion by Burns, second by Welch. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16C, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the MAPA agreement with Nebraska Department of Transportation for the replacement of a minibus in an amount not to exceed $25,008. Do I have a motion? Councilman Preister?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll move to approve item 16C.
Second.
Motion by Preister, second by Burns. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. Item 16D, approve and authorize the mayor to sign the professional services agreement with Whitewater West Industries Limited for engineering design services on the Bellevue Indoor Water Park in an amount not to exceed $150,000. Do I have a motion? Councilwoman Welch?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll make a motion that we approve item 16D.
Second.
Motion by Welch, seconded by Burns. Any comments or questions? Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.
Thank you. 17, administration reports. Comments must be limited items on the current reports. June report will be attached to the July 2nd packet. And there is no closed session this evening. Councilman Preister.
Motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Motion by Preister, second by Welch. Please vote.
All voting yes, motion carries.